Hi, my name is Onyi Anyado, founder of Onyi Anyado Media House. And in conjunction with Generation Success, we're hosting an exclusive night called An Evening with Onyi Anyado, How to Become an Entrepreneur of Distinction. At this exclusive event, we'll be challenging you and teaching you and really empowering you how to become an entrepreneur of distinction. We'll be covering innovation, creativity, time management, and so much more. This exclusive event will be held on the 15th of July 2014 at 6:30 p.m. at BP Waterloo. This is a date that you cannot afford to miss. So I hope to see you there, and here's your success distinction style. I'm very blessed. How you doing?
I'm good, really good.
Yes.
You know, I'm so glad you're here. You know, we've had you booked in our calendar for the last 3-4 months.
Yes.
And we've been speaking every month
Yes.
about what's going to happen this
Yeah.
month. You know, every time I talk to you, you just leave me so motivated. You know, because we talk about entrepreneurship, we talk
Yes.
about being of distinction.
Yes, sir.
You know, and I can't wait for you to tell the audience about that.
Yes.
You know, tell us more about what distinction means to you.
Okay, in February 2014, I penned the following definition. An entrepreneur is a leader of excellence, trailblazer, and pioneer who constantly brings change to their generation. So on the night, I'll be given 6 principles, speaking about vision, excellence, time management, and a bit more, but I won't reveal too much anyway. So to really challenge, empower, and teach the audience how to become distinguished in their chosen field.
Fantastic. And does an entrepreneur, does that mean starting a business, or can you be a professional as well as being a business person?
Oh yes, definitely. The business world is changing every day, and you know, to become an employee of distinction is still the same principles. So you want to get that promotion that everyone else is fighting for. You still need to have a clear, defined vision. You still need to constantly raise the bar of excellence. You need to be determined. So yeah, it's definitely the same principles.
You know, it's funny you talk about. I'm just going to break this into a little conversation now.
Yes.
Because I mean, last week, part of the reason why we're having this month, Entrepreneurship Month, is because we're part of a report being commissioned by the National Youth Agency.
Yes.
And A4E in terms of youth enterprise.
Yes.
And we had a few organisations who came and gave evidence.
Yes.
And one of the people that gave evidence was talking about different types of entrepreneurs.
Yes.
And they were saying, we have entrepreneurs who, you know, go out there and start businesses. We have entrepreneurs who are dormant entrepreneurs. So, you know, they don't really realize that's who they are.
Yes.
And it'll just hit them after a few years. You know, we got dabblers.
Yeah.
Dabblers are really interesting. So they say dabblers are people who go to work and at night they run their businesses.
Wow.
And that's incredible.
Yes.
Because I imagine you have to be an entrepreneur of distinction
Yes. Yeah.
to be managing your timetable. You know, I mean, what are you? Are you a dabbler? Or are you 100% entrepreneur?
I'm 100,000,000% an entrepreneur of distinction.
Okay.
To become an entrepreneur of distinction is not easy, but at the same time, once you have that clear, defined vision, that real passion, that fortitude, that understanding that if you don't do it, someone else is going to do it. We know Sir Richard Branson is an entrepreneur of distinction. You know, Donald Trump is an entrepreneur of distinction, and these great men have got one head, 2 arms, 2 legs. So there's no distinction between them and us.
Definitely. So what you're trying to say, so you're talking about the time as well. So we all have the same amount of time.
Yes.
in the world. We all have 24 hours.
Yes.
We all have 60 minutes in an hour.
Yes.
You know, so what makes us different to Donald Trump and Richard Branson? I love that because that touches upon that.
Oh yes.
You know?
And that's the key. How to one of the things I'll be speaking about is how to manage, master, and maximize your time. It's critical. With the birth of social media, you know, we're on Facebook, Twitter. One has to be careful that we don't put all our time on social media, doing much ado about nothing. I've always wondered, does Mark Zuckerberg spend that much time on Facebook? The irony of it all.
It's so true. It's so true. You know, I once heard a great person talk about, you know, you could burn my house down, but I can rebuild it.
Yes.
You know, but if you take my time, I can't get that back.
No.
You know, and,
No
and
way.
it's so true.
Yeah.
It's so true.
Yeah.
You know, and also what you talked about touches upon the difference between being busy
Yes.
and being effective.
Yes. Yeah. You can be busy on Twitter, for example, but not effective. I want to read your last 20 Twitters and know your brand, your business, and your mindset.
Fantastic.
Your last 20 Twitters. If you've tweeted and you haven't tweeted anything about your business, not an entrepreneur. Yeah, the World Cup is great, currently it's on, but at the same time, these people are getting paid millions of dollars, millions of pounds. So to become distinguished, you have to, as you said, not just be busy, but be productive specifically for for your vision, for your business, for your brand.
So true, it's so true. Every waking minute you have to be working towards what your vision is.
Yes, most definitely, without any shadow of a doubt. They were preparing for the World Cup Brazil. How many years back? As soon as they announced it, they
You know
were
what I loved about the last bit? We were talking about social media, Twitter.
Yes.
You know, but you also mentioned something which I know you are passionate about.
Yes.
Which is about the brand.
Yes.
About being your brand.
Yes.
You know, tell me more about that.
Yeah.
You know.
You are your brand.
Mm.
James, you are Generation Success.
Mm.
I am Onyi Anyado Media House. So Richard Branson is Virgin. Mark Zuckerberg is Facebook. So whatever we post on social media, how we dress, how we walk, where we network, what we do, we are our brand. And once people understand that, you're not going to put nonsense on Twitter. Yeah, you talk about football World Cup, I do that, etc., etc. But you are your brand.
Absolutely.
And once you understand that ideology,
that's when you can raise the bar and go to the next level.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah. You know, and it's so true because your brand is everything.
Yes.
And people are watching you every time,
Yes.
every single second.
Yes.
Whether that's online or face to face.
Yes. Yeah. So one can't afford, and one of the things I speak about on the evening is excellence, and one can't afford to be mediocre. You know, Tupac had one rap album back in the days, All Eyes on Me. So if all eyes are on you and you know all eyes on you, or you don't know all eyes on you, you have to realize that all eyes are on you. And you need to constantly raise the bar of excellence. So that's one of the things I'll be speaking about. And I think branding, you know, really is everything. Your vision, because you have to have a clear defined vision. You've got to manage your time, how to promote your brand. Social media is free of charge.
So true, so true. And how do you constantly raise that bar?
Look at yesterday's success. Look at yesterday's success. A great man once said, I think it was me that said it anyway, last year's excellence is this year's mediocrity. So look at your achievement, great, pat yourself on the back, you know, have a drink of water, celebrate, but then raise the bar again.
Definitely, so true, so true. You know, and that goes, I used to be in sales.
Yes.
And one of the things you realize in sales is you are only as good as your last sale.
Yes.
I remember I got a massive deal.
How much?
it was probably 25% of the company's value.
Wow.
And
Okay.
well, revenue at the time.
Yes.
And I used to sit back and think I was the man. And then one day the boss called me into the office and said, you know, you're here to make sales.
Yeah.
You know, if you're not making sales, I'm going to have to let you go.
Wow.
That hit me. That
Yeah.
did hit me. And it's so true what you're saying. Look at yesterday's success and see how.
Most definitely. Yeah.
Look past that.
And once we're successful, sometimes, I think, when I've written 8 books, I think one of the quotes from like the 7th or 8th book is your comfort zone is not that comfortable.
So true.
Your comfort zone is not that comfortable. It's not. So yeah, we're successful, you know, we're distinguished, we're award winners, we're raising the bar, but Richard Branson never rests in that sense. You know, he's always constantly raising the bar, bringing that new disruptive innovation, and that's one of the things I'll be speaking about as well, disruptive innovation.
Fantastic. So true. So true. You know, and when you talked about the comfort zone, your comfort zone is never comfortable. It reminds me of one of my favorite sayings, which is, boats look great when they're docked, but that's not what they're made for.
No.
They're made for riding those rough seas.
Yes.
And that's what we should be doing as individuals every single day.
Yeah.
You know, we only have one life.
Yeah. So to become distinguished, we all got to look at for new possibilities, new levels of productivity. I call it the 3 Ps, and advancing new promotion. Possibility, productivity, and promotion. To become distinguished, we can't just rest on the layer and say, yeah, I won an award or I made £500,000 or whatever. We've got to constantly raise the bar, because remember, an entrepreneur is a leader of excellence, trailblazer, and pioneer who constantly brings change to their generation.
Fantastic, fantastic. And what I love about you is that you have constantly raised the bar. You know, so I mean, tell us about where you started from and where you are now.
Yes. Wow. I remember back in the days, you know, about 4 or 5 years ago, I started doing life coaching, I'm a life coach, monthly workshops. Your Time Is Now, monthly life coaching workshops. And sometimes nobody didn't come. So for a good 2 hours, I was just speaking by myself.
Okay.
No one came, you know, I was speaking, but I saw my vision. I saw myself speaking in front of thousands and thousands of people. Started from there. I think I wrote my first book. Then I found out about speaking and began speaking, and the rest is history. So now I hold masterclasses on how to become an entrepreneur of distinction. That's very exclusive. Also speaking up and down the country, obviously going international very soon. So my vision is for people to achieve their vision and achieve it with excellence.
Fantastic, fantastic. And, you know, you missed out the fact you spoke on TEDx.
Yes, yeah.
You know? I was saying to you, when we spoke on the phone over the last few months, that I saw you speak on TEDx, that was fantastic.
Yes.
But I also saw you speak recently, peeking through the door, and I was so touched. I wasn't in the room, but I heard you speak. I was like, wow, Onyi. You know, I saw the leap of improvement in your performance.
Wow.
You know, so I'm excited to see you on the 16th.
Yes.
You know, it's going to be very powerful.
I can't wait. I've been having sleepless nights. I've been doing the moonwalk. I've been doing the MC Hammer. I'm excited because I think it's gonna be a great night for all involved. I mean, you know, it's history in the making. So we can challenge them to become history makers.
Oh yeah, oh yeah. You know, I mean, one of our taglines in Generation Success is that we want to we want to challenge the dream hunters become worldwide wonders.
Wow.
You know, so this night fits really into our values.
And I really love what you guys at Generation Success is doing. I think it is definitely, you know, that global mandate, that global mission, and that global mindset, the three M's. You know, I like to 3Ps, 3M's, the mission, the mandate, and the mindset. And I think definitely Generation Success is going to be that reference point in entrepreneurship for 10 years, 15, 20 years down the line. It's that legacy, it's that leaving that dynasty.
Thank you very much. I'm going to have to copy that.
Yeah. Copyright Onyi Anyado 2014.
Yeah. But the only thing I'm worried about is every time I talk to you, you leave me so inspired, so motivated. You know, I remember 2 weeks ago I texted you and said, look, I got to talk to you, but it's 10 p.m. Let's leave it to the morning.
That made me laugh.
You know?
Do you know? I think I fell asleep and I woke up laughing because that just had me in stitches.
Definitely.
You know what it is? I think I've found my life vision now, and you know where I came from, the street life and all that negativity. I refuse failure. I reject mediocrity, but I want my generation. I want this generation of entrepreneurs to refuse mediocrity and reject every form of fear, every form of averageness, every form of lack. There's too much opportunities out there.
Definitely.
I'm going for mine, so I want everyone else to go for theirs as well.
And that's so clear to see, because every time I talk to you on the phone, and every time I've seen you talk as well, it's clear that you want everyone around you to keep on raising their bar.
Yes, sir.
And that's why I love you, man. I love you. You know?
You're making me emotional now.
Sorry,
I can't see it coming down my eye.
Yeah. But I mean, that's why I love who you are and
Yes,
what
sir.
you represent. Because it's so important. I mean, there's a saying that people want you to be successful, but not as successful as them. And what I love about you is the fact that you want people to raise the bar as much as possible.
Yes.
You know?
Yeah. That's my dream, that's my vision. So whether you're a 16-year-old from Peckham or a 55 CEO from Portsmouth, I want you to raise the bar. There's no, after hearing my story, what's your excuse? My first book I wrote with no money. I didn't have no money, didn't have a laptop. I was living at my mum's house. Many people have got their own home, got a laptop, they've got money, but they still, oh my gosh, oh my gosh, oh my gosh. So with me, there's no more excuses.
You know, so leave your excuses at the door.
Yes.
You know, so apart from being an entrepreneur, distinction, the other message on the 16th of July, I guess, is no excuses.
No excuses.
You know, no excuses.
Not in 2014. Not with a world population of 7.5 billion. 7.5 billion. No excuses.
Yeah, and actually talk about that. We talked about how, so 2014, we've got a generation that has so many opportunities.
Yes.
So many schemes there to support them
Yes.
doing what they're doing. And yet, if we look back generations, you know, and we see the struggle, the struggle that people went through to give us a platform, it's amazing that we have a generation of skeptics, the people who not, you know.
Yeah, it's interesting now. You know, there's many organisations that even you're connected to that will give young people free money, free advice. Yeah. But sometimes there's that procrastination and there's that laziness. There's a distinction. Okay, I'll do it next week, or I can't be bothered. And the next thing you know, it's just coulda, shoulda, woulda.
Definitely. And also the thing about that, it's not just young people. It's also professionals as well. It's also entrepreneurs. We all get into that rut. Like you talked about earlier, the comfort zone. Yes. You know, even your career, your business is running fine. Yes. But you always have to keep on excelling. Yeah. Because I've seen friends, and I'm gonna ask you a question about this in a second. Yes. But I've seen friends that the time they decide to raise the bar is when something happens. So when there's redundancy, you know, or when a girlfriend, or when something just hits them and says, look, this is not good enough. You know, they want to get married, so they like, now I need to start earning more money so I can pay for this wedding. Yeah. You know, what was the point for you that made you raise your bar?
I think, I have to say I was fed up of being fed up. I think I was, that time when I was living at my mum's house and I wrote my first book, and I just had this, what do you call it, epiphany or whatever, that I'm better than this where I am now. I knew that I can't be living at my mum's house. I've got dreams, I've got vision. I'm seeing great speakers out there. I'm seeing great platforms, and that's the power of vision. I was fed up of being fed up. And in life, there's levels. Economy class and business class, they're different levels. One plane, one direction, same location. But there's different levels.
Can you just repeat that last one? I loved it.
What did I say again?
Economy class.
Yes. Economy class and business class is different levels, but it's one plane and it's the same location. So to get to that level of distinction, you need the key of excellence, you need the key of determination, the keys of creativity, disruptive innovation, changing your industry, becoming that thought leader that, you know, as that great entrepreneur Daniel Priestley said, that key person of influence, that go-to person, you know, that industry mover and shaker.
Definitely. And I love the fact that you said, part of your talks about this right now was about vision.
Yes.
You know, talk to me about vision.
Yeah. That's the for me, that's the foundation, the bedrock of an entrepreneur becoming distinguished. I was speaking yesterday in Ipswich and in Peckham, South London, and it's interesting. I said to them that I'm speaking to young people, even adults. We can have a 25-year mortgage. How do you know in 18 years' time you're still going to be working? What guarantee have you got? We sign up to a contract 24 months. How do you know in 18 months you're still going to have money to pay it? So if we can have a 25-year vision, a 25-year mortgage, and an 18-month contract, minimum, I believe, as entrepreneurs, we have to have a 5-year vision, minimum. See the possibilities in the next 5 years.
And then keep on taking steps towards that vision.
Yes. Yeah.
You know, and I was talking to someone the other day, and they were talking about we have a generation of skeptics.
Yes.
They say that our generation don't really want to take steps unless they see the end goal in front of them. You know, they see that guarantee. But I guess, you know, if you do have a vision, you need to start taking those steps without that guarantee.
Yeah.
And how can we do that? How can we encourage our generation to do that?
So, for example, if you're going to open up a business, networking, that's baby steps. I'm not going to say, you know, my title is not how to become a millionaire entrepreneur overnight. No, how to become an entrepreneur of distinction. Take baby steps by networking. Readers are leaders. I always ask people, okay, you want to be a lawyer. How many law journals have you read? You want to be a mechanical engineer. How many mechanical? Who have you connected on LinkedIn? Who are you following on Twitter? Being current is the currency of life.
Ooh, I like that. I'm glad to steal that as well.
Well, that's not my one anyway.
But also talk about that. It's funny that all the greats, so you know, Steve Jobs, Bill Gates, you know, I want to talk about Nelson Mandela as well. You know, they all had a vision, and they all had to break that down into small baby steps to achieve that.
Yes.
You know, if they were like, I guess if they were like the skeptics, we wouldn't have what we have now.
No way.
You know?
No way.
You know? And what makes them different? What makes those great people different to our generation today? You know,
I think one of the things I speak about is determination. I think, for me personally, I don't know how to give up. One of my good brothers, my good friend said, "Oh, you never give up." I said, "I don't know how to give up." Nelson Mandela, he didn't know how to give up. No matter how they abused him physically, mentally, he didn't know how to give up. Steve Jobs, he doesn't know how to give up. He didn't know how to give up. So once you have that, we know the biggest battle is in the mind. Once you understand that, you cannot give up. You know, we say, yeah, always live your dreams, never give up. But you have to have that understanding that you cannot give up. If you ain't got no money, I remember back in the days when I was speaking to people, audiences, say, yeah, I have a global vision. But I was thinking, how the heck am I going to get home? I've only got like £1 on my own. You know the ones there. But imagine I gave up though. So enough is enough. I'm going to go and do something else or whatnot. So that fortitude of mind, that's what distinguishes the great leaders, the great entrepreneurs from the average, from the rest.
Yeah, I totally agree. And that also takes me to a quote I heard about the other day about hope.
Yes.
I think it was Bill Gates' wife, and she was talking about how some people feel that people who have hope is just foolish optimism. And she's saying, no. Hope is the belief that what today is like is not how it's going to be in the future.
No way.
You know, and we must take steps to change it.
Yes.
You know, and I totally agree that that's a reflection of ourselves as human beings, but also about the change we can create around us and in the world around us as well.
Oh yes. If I didn't have hope in 2010 when I was living in my mum's house, I wouldn't have written that book. And if I didn't take that step of faith and have that hope, I wouldn't be here speaking to you now. That much I know.
And on the 15th of July,
My gosh.
you're going to speak to a whole room, a whole auditorium of people, and inspiring them.
Yes.
You know, I'm scared because, like I said, every time I talk to you, I'm so inspired. I find it hard to sleep because I'm like, if Onyi's inspired me this much about moving forward, about going to the next level, I can't sleep. I need to do my work.
Yeah.
And every time I talk to you, I'm just in the cave. I'm on that laptop. I send those emails. I make those phone calls.
Of course.
You know, because I can't let today be like tomorrow.
No.
So, you know, I can't wait to hear you talk.
Yes, sir.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.